Hello. Today I'm going to recap the movie Infestation, also known as Ticks. Spoilers ahead. In a barn somewhere, Jarvis Tanner, a drug dealer, conducts an experiment that uses steroids to improve the growth of his marijuana plants. He is unaware that the chemicals produced in his experiment have caused local ticks to mutate. Mr. Burns and Tyler arrived at the pickup point. He asked his son to participate in an inner-city wilderness initiative in an effort to get over his phobia of being out in the woods. Tyler seems hesitant, but will do it anyway in hopes that he will be able to conquer his fears. Tyler gets to know Holly Lambert and Charles Danson, the people behind the initiative. He also get to meet his fellow campers, Melissa Danson, Charlie's daughter, Kelly Mishimoto, Dee Dee Davenport, Rome Hernandez and Daryl Panic Lumley. To get supplies, they make a stop at a store. While there, Sir and Jerry, two locals, confront Melissa. Sir tells Jerry to stop bothering Melissa and to stop harassing her. Melissa went back to the van, where he saw Jerry in the window. Creeped out by Jerry, Melissa shuts the window down. The group then heads to the camp. Back at the barn, Jarvis was setting up his bear trap while listening to the radio. Right across the barn, a tick emerges from the ground looking for prey to attack. The tick started to crawl on the ground towards Jarvis, but it heard the squeaking sound of the hamster. It crawls up to the table where the hamster was. Jarvis heard his hamster squeak and went to investigate. He finds his pet dead. While looking at his dead pet, something crawled on his feet and ran towards the machine. He slowly walked toward the machine to find out what it was. As he continued to investigate, he was startled by a giant tick. But as he stepped backward, Jarvis' foot was caught by the bear trap he set up earlier. He falls to the ground due to so much pain. He then realizes that there were eggs hanging on the ceiling and they started falling onto him. The group has reached their destination. Everyone took their belongings into the cabin. Tyler took his things to the cabinet, where he then found a mysterious object hanging on the wall. He took a hanger and punctured the egg-like thing, and a slimy goo oozed out of it. Rome and Panic also notice what Tyler found in the cabinet. Panic crushed the thing using his foot. Later that day, Melissa and Tyler were out in the woods. The two did not see the mysterious sack of eggs hanging on the tree. As Melissa walked ahead of him, Tyler noticed something on her back. The insect attached itself to Melissa's back. Luckily, Tyler has managed to pry out the insect from Melissa's back. The two went back to the camp to inform the group about what happened. However, they were then dismissed by Charles. Out of nowhere, Sir and Jerry arrive at the camp and intimidate the group. He reminded them to not wander away from their camp, as it might cause them harm. Holly offered them some of their food. Jerry reaches the table to get some burgers but is stopped by Sir. They then decided to leave. The two left the camp, leaving the group feeling uncomfortable, especially Melissa. Later that evening, Panic's dog, Brutus, was out in the woods. He sensed something running towards him and he felt uneasy. Panic was searching for Brutus and asked Tyler, but he was startled. While they were chatting, they heard Brutus let out a loud cry. Panic then hastily run towards where the sound originates. He then found Brutus, shaking on the ground. Panic returned to the camp carrying the lifeless body of Brutus. Devastated, Panic decided to leave the camp. He packed up his things and braved the dark night. The next day, the group reported the incident to the sheriff. Sheriff Parker visited the camp to have a look at the dog's corpse. He then advised Charles to take the dog to a vet for a full examination. Charles and Tyler heeded the sheriff's advice and brought Brutus to a veterinarian. In the clinic, the vet found a tick inside the dog. It was still alive. While holding the thing she found on the dog's body, it moved aggressively and dropped it on the floor. They hurried to block the doors to stop the thing from getting out. They hunted it down. The insect managed to avoid capture. Tyler ducks down to look for the insect under the table. It ran up the wall. The vet saw it and tried to catch it with her net. It ran and jumped up to Tyler's face. Charles pulled the insect off of Tyler's face. But the vet was able to successfully kill it. The vet then examined the tick and found out that it was a wood tick that had mutated due to a chemical that farmers were using in the marijuana fields. She also added that there is a big chance that the tick's bite causes hallucinations since the altered growth also strengthens the insect's neurotoxin. While in the woods running, Panic felt an excruciating pain in his leg. He noticed something on his leg and took out a knife to cut his pants open. He discovered a large insect attached to his leg. He pulled it out of his leg, but its head got stuck inside of him. The remains of the insect continue to burrow under his skin. He screams in so much pain. Holly asked Melissa to take Kelly fishing. Melissa agreed reluctantly, while Rome and Dee Dee decided to take on a different activity. When Kelly and Melissa were in the pond, Kelly managed to catch a fish. She then asked Melissa to get the fish in the pond since the fishing line was stuck to something. Melissa agreed to get in the water after a few arguments. As she got closer, Melissa discovered Sheriff Parker's body. Frightened, they hurriedly hid, but then witnessed another discovery. They also found the sheriff's car covered with bushes and vegetation. Meanwhile, Dee Dee found a barn where she hid from Rome. She saw that there were plenty of marijuana plants inside. She continued to walk into the barn and discovered a mysterious egg sac on the wall, pulsating. After checking, she stumbles upon Jarvis, whose face is now swollen and covered with blisters. Dee Dee fell to the ground while backing away from Jarvis. Jarvis also lost his footing and fell face down onto Dee Dee. Dee Dee witnessed Jarvis' face burst and a tick attached itself to her neck. She was able to brush off the tick, stand up and run out of the barn to ask for help. Panic slowly gains consciousness, but he's still under some kind of hallucination. Sir and Jerry found Panic on the ground. They thought Panic was after their marijuana plantation. Panic denies every accusation. Frustrated, Jerry stamps on Panic's chest. Panic pulls out his knife and stabs Jerry in the leg. He tries to escape from Jerry. Jerry ran after him in the woods. Panic's foot gets caught in some wire that sets off an alarm. He fell to the ground, and later on, Jerry was able to catch up with him. The two struggled in a fight, and luckily, Panic was able to outpower Jerry. Not for long, Sir arrives with his shotgun and aims at Panic. Panic was able to avoid the gunshot, and Sir inadvertently set off a propane tank explosion, which caused a forest fire. As Panic tries to get away, Sir shoots him again and he falls to the ground. The two hurriedly left the scene. Rome carries Dee Dee out of the woods. Dee Dee was under some kind of hallucination due to the tick bite. Fortunately, Charles and Tyler were on their way back to the camp, and they saw Rome and Dee Dee. While in the van, Rome mentions that Dee Dee is acting weird. Tyler said that the ticks must have caused Dee Dee's hallucination, and Charles agreed. The fire continues to get bigger. The ticks were also running away from the flame. Without their knowledge, the cabin is now infested with ticks. Melissa and Kelly were able to get back into the camp unharmed. Charles and the rest have arrived at the cabin while carrying Dee Dee. Holly explained to Charles what Melissa and Kelly discovered. They both decided that they needed to leave the cabin immediately. While Charles and Holly discussed their plan, their attention was caught by Melissa, Tyler, and Kelly's. They learned that a huge fire was coming their way along with the army of ticks outside. Holly was startled when an infested Jerry showed up on the window. Sir and Jerry asked for their help, while Melissa tries to convince her father not to let them in, but Charles has decided to let them inside the cabin. Jerry pulled out every insect that had latched onto him until every tick was dead. Sir expressed gratitude for saving their lives. Not long after, a wounded Panic arrived at the cabin. They tend to Panic's wounds. While struggling with the unbearable pain, Panic had managed to inform them that he was shot by Sir. Slowly, Panic succumbed to his wound. Tension rises as the group tells Sir and Jerry that he was shot just like what happened to the sheriff. Jerry reacts angrily, feeling accused. Sir pulls out his gun and threatens everyone. Jerry panics as he learns that the group now knows their crime and asks Sir to kill every one of them. Sir then demands the keys to the van. Chaos ensued after Charles tried to run to the door and Sir shot him in the leg. Sir threatens to shoot Melissa if he cannot get a hold of the key. Holly gave the keys to Sir. Sir now demands Jerry to get the van. Jerry denied Sir's command at first but still follows Sir's order as he is threatened to be shot.
Having no choice, Jerry went out of the cabin, bringing a fire torch. He manages to ward off the ticks while on his way to the van. Luckily, he was able to reach the van unharmed.
Upon reaching the van, Jerry started to operate, but he felt a bite on the back of his neck. After a while, he was able to get it off his neck. The effect of the tick bite slowly catches up to Jerry. He started to see things. He saw Sheriff Parker pointing his gun. Jerry accelerates the van towards Sir. Believing it to be the sheriff, he crashed the van into the cabin. Fortunately, everyone managed to get to safety. Now, every tick tries to enter the cabin. To everyone's surprise, Sir emerges from the debris alive. Dee Dee screams out of fear due to the tick in her head. Ticks rained from everywhere. Sir used his gun to shoot. As everyone was looking for a way out, Sir grabbed Melissa. Tyler then lunges at Sir, trying to seize his gun. Rome stabbed Sir. Suddenly, Tyler noticed Panic's body moving violently on the floor. Everyone was in shock as it ran across the floor, hitting the couch. Sir fell to the ground. Tyler's body continues to move towards the wall. Sir witnessed the changes in Panic's body. Large insect legs protrude out of Panic's legs. Everyone went upstairs to try to look for a way out of the cabin. Rome can see the fire getting closer to the cabin. Insect-like legs are still coming out of Panic's body. Kelly used a fishing rod to grab the swing rope from the outside. Meanwhile, Panic's body has been torn in half when a very large tick emerges from the inside. Sir watches in horror as the large insect slowly gets closer. He tries to crawl away from it, but to no avail. The large tick catches up with Sir, slowly going straight to his head and severing it using his strong mandibles. On the other hand, Tyler used the rope to swing across the yard to get the van. The rope breaks and Tyler falls to the ground. Ticks instantly attack Tyler. He was able to remove the ticks. He then uses the broomstick as a torch when he lights it up on fire to ward off the ticks. In the van, Tyler discovers Jerry's lifeless body with ticks feasting on it. He uses the torch and scorches the ticks. While Rome and the rest are making a long rope out of blankets tied to a ski board, the enormous insect was banging on the door, attempting to gain entry. Tyler drove the van near the window. Alas, the giant insect has broken the door. One by one, the group descends from the window using the rope. Everyone was able to get out of the window except for Rome. The giant tick is now inside the room and charging towards Rome. It was able to take a hold of Rome's leg and pull him down to the floor. Tyler climbs back to the window to rescue Rome. Rome is battling with the giant tick. Melissa lit the broomstick and threw it to Tyler. Rome was able to break free from the giant tick. Tyler shoves the burning broomstick into the tick's mouth. He then helps Rome escape out of the window. Everyone is now inside the van. Tyler drove the van away from the cabin. The tick screams in pain. The giant insect explodes. A streak of flames travels underneath a tank of propane, leading to another enormous explosion. They watched as the balls of flame engulfed the camp. They are now on their way back to civilization. Unbeknownst to them, in the junkyard, a pulsating egg falls from the van's undercarriage. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Please do leave a like.